10. Female. I was in gym class and I left for a moment to go to the bathroom. When I came back, my gym clothes had been taken from my locker. After first period was over, I found them. They had been shredded with scissors and dumped into the toilet as well. My shirt was a favorite up to that point, had the phrase "fat ugly bitch" and "messy Sharpie" along the front. Of course it hurt. I never tried to make any enemies, but whatever. People who do stuff like that unprovoked only want to get a rise out of you, and by reacting to it, it was only giving them what they wanted.
16. Female. I had been hurt time after time because I was different from my classmates because I was the new girl. I would get picked on for being fat, for not being as rich as my classmates. These type of hurtful things followed me from 6th grade till 8th. I gave in to all the criticism and I started to starve myself. At first I thought that maybe someone would stop if I changed how I looked, but I only started to feel worse. Then I started to check out of life. I distanced myself from everyone, including family. No one knew what had happened to me. I was once a friendly, outgoing, and happy person, but I changed entirely. I only spoke when I had to, and all day I would just sit and think about how to end all of these terrible feelings. So I just decided that the only way for me to stop was to starve myself completely till there was nothing. And I had hated myself that much. It felt like I was dying. My parents started to notice that I had stopped eating. I remembered the time that my mom came in and sat down with me to watch and make sure that I was eating, and she cried. And that's what really hit me. It made me feel something I hadn't felt in a really long time. Love. This is what made me stop. I always look back on that day and say, never will I let hurt words hurt me to where I can't take it anymore.
17. Female. When I was a freshman, I joined an extracurricular which had group meetings outside of school. I was one of the only freshmen in our group and I was shy. One senior took notice of me and started paying attention. He would harass me during meetings and find me after nighttime school events and continue it then. It only stopped when he graduated. I still shake when I hear his name.
Age 18. Female. I'm not a perfect student. I strive to do amazing things, but my life always seems to get in the way. During my junior year, I decided to take the challenging course AP World. This class took an enormous amount of time and work. At the time, I was dealing with depression, anxiety, and ADHD. I would often miss assignments. In one particular instance, a classmate asked me for my insight on a question. I hadn't done the reading required to answer the question, but was too embarrassed to admit it. I decided I'd try to wing the answer. My classmate was not pleased by my answer. Their expression changed into a very serious, disgusted look. Wow, I thought you were smart. I guess I was wrong. The person's words really hurt me. I felt pathetic for not being able to complete my assignments and participate in class properly, but depression is a disease which created a barrier between thought and action. I wanted to be productive, but I couldn't, and the opinion from my classmate made me feel worse. Words hurt. They can really stick with a person and change your feelings completely. Even if the person speaking doesn't mean any harm by them. Think before you speak.
Age 14, gender female. This was in middle school when everyone found out that I was born in Kenya. They started calling me African, and I was not able to fit in anywhere. I was different, and I still am, but I want and didn't let that bring me down. And somehow, it brought me up to be my own person.
17. Female. It was a time that these girls were talking about me. They called me fat. It wasn't worth it. Then they told me to go F myself. I was traumatized. I was so hurt. I didn't tell my mom. I cried at night with not loving myself. I felt so down. I went into depression for a few months. But then my friends came along and helped me realize I'm a beautiful person no matter what.
Age 17, gender male. I remember my junior year, I was being emotionally hurt by rumors, and it started to hurt me seriously. And I soon became depressed, and these people would daily make fun of me, to the point that I just left school for a week because of depression.
Age 18, male. In high school, I've been called an Uncle Tom, Oreo, Carlston, and sellout. With my teammates, it was always a contest of who could be black enough. No word bothered me more than being called an Uncle Tom. It doesn't reflect who I am as a person, and it's frustrating being viewed badly among my peers.
I used to be emo. Well, I still am, but you can't really tell that much anymore. and my cousin doesn't like me because of it. She makes fun of me and calls me a stupid emo. She also always makes jokes about it, like if I'm listening to music and people are trying to tell me, she'll say she can't hear me. She's too busy being emo. And she laughs at it, but it's not funny. She sometimes tells me to go cut myself or to go kill myself. It really sucks because it's my cousin saying it to me. If it was someone else, I wouldn't let it bother me. I just brushed it off. But it's my family, so it really hurts.
Age 16, gender male. Every day in one of my classes, someone laughed at the comments that he made. I ignored him because I knew that he was just trying to make me aggravated, but it really bothered me. I was afraid to approach it with him because he slapped me in the face before and threw his phone at me.
Age 17, gender female. I was in a rough relationship with a guy that I thought I could trust. We were sexually active. We'd gotten into a big fight and stopped talking. A week later, I found out I was pregnant. I didn't know how to tell him, so I wrote him a note. When he read it, the first thing he said was, "She's lying." He didn't want to see me or talk to me. I thought I could trust him, but he lost my trust.
16, female. During 10th grade, I witnessed a guy in my gym class being bullied by a group of girls. The ringleader of the bullies did not exclusively bully him, but also there were others in the class who were her so-called friends. It began with her commenting that someone smelled bad in class while we were exercising in yoga, and she soon targeted him constantly with her crew following along. There were others in the class that confirmed that he did not smell the best and talked about him but did not bother him about it. He had a lot of body hair and wore glasses. I believe that they were all juniors at the time and things escalated quickly. They cornered him and bombarded him with questions about his hygiene and social life. He just answered their questions and tried his best not to let it affect him. I did nothing because he was a guy and I did not think that he wanted a girl to defend him. I feel bad about it today and wish I had said something.
14, female. One time in high school when I witnessed someone being hurt was when me, my best friend, my boyfriend, and another friend were walking home, and several other girls came up and started arguing with my best friends about something I'd seen on Facebook or something. One girl started fighting, and I just stood there watching.
Male, 17. A time I witnessed someone being hurt is when I saw them getting bullied. I didn't do anything about it because I didn't like the person either, so I was glad he was being bullied. It didn't affect me, and still it doesn't, because I didn't still like the person.
16, female. Freshman year, I experienced a new kid get bullied because of his nationality. I didn't know what to do or how to defend him. I wish I had told someone or helped him.
16, female. I witnessed someone being hurt in my Spanish class this year. A few students were just whispering a girl's name, and she got offended and told them to stop, but they kept doing it. The class was laughing. I didn't do anything. I probably could have told them to stop, but I didn't. I think that it wasn't that serious.
Age 16, gender female. One day after school, all the students would hang out in the park. There was this girl. She was very overweight and always was bullied about it. This one day, this group of girls were messing with her and they started to jump her. I didn't do anything to help her. I didn't do anything to stop them. I could have. I should have.
Age 15, gender male. I saw someone being hurt emotionally because she has been sad and down ever since she lost a family member. People always talked bad about her, saying she would never be anything. She kept her distance and was afraid to express herself. She kept a lot of her feelings inside and was stressed out and worried day and night. When I moved here, I had no knowledge of how to make a friend. I watched people pass me laughing with friends, and I watched people give each other smiles. But no one stopped, no one gave me any smiles, no one reached out. I watched with anger and pain as people made fun of me, then others. I hated, but then I loved. I watched for the lonely, for the sad. I reach out, I help, I give and care.
15, female. This one time, my best friend was very upset because her dad died. So when she told me, I was upset too because she was angry and stuff. So I cried with her. I told her everything was going to be okay. And soon after, she started feeling better and she thanked me for being there for her and telling her that everything was going to be okay.
Grade 12, male. A kid in one of my classes was insecure about his homosexuality. He was constantly trying to fit in and be accepted at school. and acceptance I found out he did not receive at home. My classmates were habitual bullies of him, making a mockery of his clothing, body, gestures, and social anxiety. He was aware of these hurtful jests even as they were going on, and it only deepened his insecurity and self-loathing. I attempted to help him out by talking to him and reassuring him how great of a person he was. I believe the experiences affected me by showing me how powerful the spoken word can be at either degrading or reinforcing someone's self-esteem.
Gender, female. Today in choir, my friend was crying because she was being talked about by her cousin's friend. So me and another girl went up and talked to her and told her not to worry, that people are going to talk about you and that you just have to let those people go. Me and the girl who had talked to her gave her examples about something similar happening to us and just told her not to worry.
16, female. On the day before Thanksgiving in 2012, my friend and I were walking down Alderside to go back to her house after a pick-up football game at the high school. While we were walking, we saw our friend walking a little farther ahead of us, so we texted him to wait up. Then out of nowhere, two guys came up and started walking next to him and seemed to start talking to him. Our friend then motioned for us to stay back because something seemed sketchy about the situation. One of the guys then punched him, making him fall to the ground. The two guys then took off down Lee Road with his bag and his cell phone. My friend and I then called the police and we waited for them to come and take him to the hospital with a potential broken nose.
16, male. A time when I witnessed someone being hurt was just this past December. I was walking in the hallway after school and I saw what I assumed was a couple standing by the locker. At first they seemed a little hostile towards each other, but I wasn't trying to drop into their conversation. Then I started hearing someone scream at the top of their lungs. I turned around and he had her in a headlock. I quickly dropped my books and ran to break it up. He let go and stormed off. She was crying and she walked off as well. This situation made my heart heavy that a man would ever lay his hands on a woman and be that aggressive with it. Now I pledge to stop this type of violence in any way possible.
Age 17, female. Throughout my high school life, I have seen hurtful things being done to people and to me as well. When people make me upset and hurt, I think it makes me a stronger person. I think that it makes me learn how not to treat people. There was no specific time that someone actually hurt me. It was just the way that people looked at me. That's the thing. Hurting someone doesn't have to be in words. It can be just by looking at someone rudely. I hope that later in our lives that people learn how to be nice to others. No one gets anywhere with being rude.
I don't usually witness bullying, but when I do, I prefer to be upstander. Stay helpful, my friend.